Now, for the topic at hand, in my first video, first of all, thank you for everybody who liked it, watched it, subscribed, didn't like it, didn't watch it. Thanks to everybody and God bless everybody. But check this out. We talked about back pressure. We talked about stage 2. We talked about how, things work together. And at the time, I had a 2 and a 1 and a 2 catless exhaust. And at first, with the stage 2, we had, no low end torque. Then I installed the Fuel Moto baffle inserts in the exhaust and the slip-ons, and that gave me some of my torque back, and it felt great, and it was fun to ride. But I couldn't shake this thought, and some of you guys even suggested it in the comment section. So I made the jump to a 2 and a 1 exhaust. And I'm gonna try to talk about 2 and a 1 versus a 2 and a 2, or 2 and a 1 and a 2, I should say. All I really know about true duals, a 2 and a 2, is that not all of them suck as far as your low end torque or anything like that. There are good ones out there to buy. They give you some torque. Well, I should say your torque numbers could be high, but on the low end, you're gonna have some lag. You're gonna have some torque lag, I guess you could say. But that's all I really know about 2 and a 1s, other than they sound awesome. They sound amazing. Now, 2 and a 1 and a 2, all right? That's the most common thing. That's how Harley ships them. That's how Harley makes them, as far as baggers go anyway. And with my setup, the Woods 22 XE cam, and a 2 and a 1 into 2 with no cat and Fuel Moto's baffles and a Fuel Moto tune, the bike was awesome. It ran great. But what I'm saying is, if you really want your bike to run how it's intended to run, I believe how Harley even intended it to run, if it wasn't for some of the purists and some of the EPA restrictions that they have, I believe, combined together, market strategy plus EPA guidelines, I think they would be making 2 and a 1 exhaust. If you want your bike to run how it's supposed to run, if you want instant torque as soon as you twist that throttle, you gotta get you a 2 and a 1. Now, obviously this is Butt Dyno again talking, but the feel is dramatic. It's a dramatic difference. The torque is instant. It's there, and it doesn't stop. Horsepower catches up and just drags you along like a freight train. It's insane. Obviously, it was retuned again by Fuel Moto once I did the Bassani 2 and a 1 exhaust here, which I don't think Bassani gets enough love for the 2 and a 1 system out on the internets and forums. You got guys who are all on the D&D train, which I'm not knocking D&D, because I think D&D, the numbers don't lie, the results don't lie. D&D makes an excellent product, but I feel like there's more people online justifying their $2,000 exhaust purchase, telling you it's D or nothing. When, if y'all watch fast Harleys on the internet, like I watch fast Harleys on the internet and racing, some of your fastest Harleys on the street are rocking these Bassanis and some of these other pipes. Like I was saying, a lot of these other companies are making excellent 2 and a 1 systems. I think any 2 and a 1 system, you're going to be able to feel that difference, and you're going to feel how this bike is intended to run in a stage 2 configuration. Actually, there's dyno charts and graphs out there how a 2 and a 1 really affects a stock Harley, and how much torque and horsepower it adds or that. I don't know if it's as dramatic as after you add a cam to it, but there is a bump in horsepower and torque once you add almost any 2 and a 1 exhaust system to a stock Harley. Chromeworks makes one that's apparently pretty good. And if you look at the SNS pipe, SNS, the company actually puts those systems on their big bore builds. So you know it's capable of creating power. And back to the Bassani, I've seen these on a lot, like I said, some of the fastest bikes on the street. So you know they are capable of, making fast bikes, making bikes faster. Currently I'm rocking the baffle in mine just to, keep that torque, keep that back pressure. I know back pressure isn't real, but I'm still using the term because that's what everybody calls it. So that's what I'm calling it. So with this setup, this bike is faster and this bike has more torque than it's ever had in a stage 2 configuration. Like I said, if you're getting any 2-in-1 exhaust, I don't think you can go wrong. Even if you compare a lot of the best 2-in-1, best-selling 2-in-1 systems out there, if you compare, like their specifications, their product specifications on any website you go to, a lot of them read very similar as far as the stepped headers, as far as the either louvered or perforated core baffles, a collection system. All those things are pretty similar. You see this bend here, this winding bend in a lot of the 2-in-1 systems out there. I just don't think you can go wrong with the 2-in-1. If you want your bike to run the best that it can run, get a 2-in-1 and get it retuned for that 2-in-1, and you can't go wrong. I love it. Like I said, I originally wanted the SNS or the D&D because everybody talked about the D&D, and I think the SNS looked most closely to a D&D, but obviously the price was a lot cheaper. But I got this one on Fuelmoto for a discount. They were running a sale on it. Also, Fuelmoto makes an excellent pipe. By the way, this is a military special right here. This is how we function daily. This gives us life. But anyway, D&D isn't the end-all be-all. I saw this Bassani system on a lot of fast bikes. I thought it looks cool. Actually, it probably looks the coolest as far as I'm concerned. So I picked it up, and I am not disappointed. There it is. That's all I really got to say. I'm not disappointed. I love it, performance-wise. No regrets. I will say that it is quieter than a dual system. It is raspier than a dual system, but it still sounds good. It's got a nice deep rumble. If you take that baffle out, I'm sure it's a lot louder, but I like the way it performs with it in, and I'm not mad at the sound, and I am also not mad at my ears not ringing when I get off the bike, all right? So, hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate all the likes, appreciate all the comments. If anybody else has any good things to say about other 2-in-1 systems that are out there, I think that needs to be said. I think D&D isn't, the only option out there. So if you guys got good results from the Vance and Hines, or if you got good stories about the Chrome Works, good stories about the SNS, Fuelmoto, any of those other guys out there, I know Horsepower Inc. HPI makes 2-in-1s. A lot of them for maybe some of the bigger displacement bikes. But hey, D&D ain't the only one. Not knocking D&D, it just ain't the only one, all right? So feel free to shop around, and hey, get the 2-in-1 system you like, because I think that you can't go wrong, especially if you're coming from a dual set. All right, so check y'all out later. Peace.